You know, maybe we're gardening wrong. Maybe we're looking at it all backwards. The idea of duplicating nature or imitating nature or following the process of how nature grows and produces energy and all those things, if we could duplicate that more, I think we would all be much better gardeners. So, you know, there is this idea that if you let nature do the heavy lifting for you, you're way ahead of the game. And we don't do that enough. There's no question about it. We just simply don't do enough of that. So this garden here, I come in maybe once a month and I take out these shoots and growth that are sort of in my way. And that basically is the extent of the gardening in here. So what a great concept is just maintaining the energy, the excess energy, this growth that we have to control. And that's it. There's nothing else to do. Keeping this apricot in sunlight, peach in sunlight is important. So again, look, if you get your earth covered and you make sure that your soil is full of energy, if you make sure that everything you're growing is looked after in such a way that it has water, the basic needs, your garden will reward you immensely with all this lush growth that is really beneficial. This idea of a garden that is flourishing, that is growing, that is doing well, is the best contributor to a cycle, a way of gardening where you can use all this material that you're cutting off as trench compost, and you can do all these things. If you have nothing growing, you basically are going to stay bare. So we have to really consider this idea of reaching that point where your garden is doing really well. If you can reach that point, then there's this little bit of perpetual energy that happens in your garden, and you have to really try to reach that level of complexity and you have to reach that energy equation where your garden is quite self-maintaining. We have very few weeds coming through here that want to go to seed. We just basically come and pull the seed heads off. I'm not even too particular because the plants that are here will sort of block them out quite well. So try this out. Try this idea of getting your ground covered with life. Keeping your soil the best you possibly can with all the resources you have. If it is adding sand for better drainage, if it's adding great compost for more energy, whatever it may be, just keep doing that. But don't be too fussy about it. Let nature fight its own battles. Let nature do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and you'll find out that gardening can be a lot easier. Like coming in here and freeing up some space with this dead growth helps the plants that are still alive. So that's the gardener's job, is to maintain peace in the garden. Nothing else. If you do much more, you're going to interfere too much with the cycle of nature itself. Yeah, we've had such bad weather, extreme weather here in Ecuador. It has rained continuously, atrocious, and it has done so much destruction everywhere.
We're going to turn this newly formed sandy peninsula into a wildlife sanctuary.
We've made this real commitment to fill up this soil, fill up this side of the bank with life. We have trees stuck away everywhere. This is a massive tree that ended up here getting stuck in this mess. We have eucalyptus trees. There's all kinds of trees tucked away in this to get this to grow again. We find that the birds like this area of our garden the most because they're close to the river and they don't have our human activity as much in here. So this is always full of birds. We're hoping that this even gets even taller and bigger and more powerful, and that there's a lot of life in here that is separated from the eco lodge. It's very important to us to have all this type of life in here. Yeah, so 6 months ago, 8 months ago, there was nothing here. And our approach was very different. We need to get plant material on this newly created island. The river put hundreds of tons of gravel and sand here. And what we needed to do is get that sand and gravel a lot more productive. So again, two things that we've done is we've basically taken out all the big rocks. We've loosened up the soil. And we've added organic matter wherever we can. And I want to show you something here. This is basically mainly in this area here, it's all weeds. And I'm not taking the weeds out. Why? Because I have nothing to put back. We have no worms. And the worms are coming because we're giving them organic matter. So it's a very different approach when you include nature in your gardening efforts, where you're basically saying, I'm going to give you, nature, the energy you need to do what you need to do. And if you do that, everything comes together. This is basically our walkway we've been using, but I like to also cover the walkways and get them growing. So these fig leaves will decompose very quickly, especially if we walk on top of them. I'm going to work the sand in. So in this area here, what we're trying to do is get a sandy soil, or a sand, basically not even a soil, a sand. We're trying to turn it into an organic scenario where it's getting always closer to soil. So you're going from sand to a closer proximity of soil, where your soil is getting better every time around. So these weeds are going to stay until I have something to replace them with. So what I'm getting at is I want my ground covered. We put a whole bunch of beans in here. We did a whole bunch of things just to get the ground covered. Nothing else. It doesn't look the way we want, but it's working. And you have to remember, one of the most important things is when you have, let's say, this grass weed, when you have it working in your soil, it itself will turn that sandy soil into a much better soil, because the roots are working in a way that they're turning sand into soil. So it's this circular motion all the time where everything has a forward movement to being better, to being stronger, to being more fertile. And even in your effort, we're going to put river compost over top of this, river silt. A combination of having those fig leaves plus the silt will turn into a more diverse soil again. We're always aiming for diversity, diverse soils, diverse plant material. If you can include diversity into your process, you will do extremely well. Look here, we've got some seeds. So I break them up. We've done this already a lot. And I just basically push them into this mess here. So basically I just want the leaves a little bit covered with some soil. And we're going to put some river silt over top of this. And this will grow like crazy just because we've added all this energy to the ground. And we are keeping everything covered with life. So I've cultivated the leaves with the sandy soil that's here. I'm going to add some river silt. I brought a whole bunch of, a couple of thousand of these red wigglers. They're going to go into the soil. They'll decompose the soil for me. They'll get it perfect. I have an avocado seed out of the compost. So everything that I encounter gets used immediately. It's just basically go, 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 get the ground covered in life and get this working. I'm going to distribute the worms. I'm going to try not to walk on them. So you have to ask the question, very simple question. If you were a seed or a plant, would you like to grow in this soil? That's got to be one of your most important questions when you're gardening. So I'm introducing this diversity here. And this isn't completely decomposed yet, but it will. It will do really well here because it's going to be walked upon. It's going to be disintegrated by I have lots of beautiful grubs in here. Grubs aren't an enemy to me. They work the soil. So that should give you an idea of how we're duplicating nature by basically being less complicated, less sophisticated, and more interested in getting the ground working and covered. Having 4 feet of sand here and gravel, what it means is when it rains and we keep this fluffy, this soil will travel deeper into the pores of the sandy gravel and turn it into an organic matter. The roots will do the same thing. The roots will push down into the soil and get it turned into a really beautiful topsoil type material. So if you keep everything working in your garden, the sky's the limit for your results. Your garden will look gorgeous. There are 2 things that have changed my outlook on gardening, how to garden, what is important, what isn't important. And the results speak for themselves. I've done really well here in Ecuador growing this food forest. Lots of additional work to be done, but I've learned a process that is very different from anything I've done before. So I have 2 main elements. The first one is soil improvement. And the second one is keeping the earth protected with green matter. So when you can get almost anything to grow and you get all kinds of fruits and vegetables, then you're doing a good job. But to get there is a different story. We have to constantly upgrade our soil. We need to constantly protect the soil by having living plants growing in that soil. And this idea of having a forward movement where your soil gets better all the time, where your plants get more established all the time, that makes all the difference in a gardening effort. And if you apply that to your garden, where you're basically saying to yourself, I'm going to be less fussy, I'm going to be less organized even, I'm going to be more organic, I'm going to be more worried about my soil than what my garden looks like, I'm going to be more interested in a 5-year plan instead of a 6-month plan. If you do all that, you will garden very differently. Our garden is living off of mainly trench composting and constantly supplying more matter to the garden. More brown matter, more green matter, more living matter. So this idea of having a circular garden is very important, where you're basically focusing on the most important things, which are plant material, covering the earth, getting your soil to the best it can be, well drained, lots of nutrients in the soil. We do it very sloppy here, cut and chop, putting leaves on top of an existing bed. We don't even bother composting anymore. We just get everything in the garden working. Yeah, as a gardener, you have to ask a very simple question. Who is more efficient? Who is stronger? Who is more prolific, nature or you as the gardener? And if you answer that question in a very logical way, you will always say that nature is stronger. Will allow you to garden in a complete different way where you as the gardener has to step way back, way back, and you have to say to yourself, how much am I going to interfere with this? How much am I going to change inside this garden? What am I going to do as a gardener to maintain the energy that is present in nature?